and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Cycle on Global TV. We're live in the nation's capital, Abuja. I'm Uyi Agmofwebe. President Bola Tinubu has met with the leadership of Edo State chapter of the All Progressives Congress at the State House in Abuja. The meeting was meant to address disagreements brewing in Edo APC for weeks now and officially presents the party's flag to its candidates in the September 2024 governorship election, Monday Okpebholo and his running mates, Dennis Idahosa. The delegation was led to the villa by APC chairman Dr. Abdullahi Ganduje. While the full details of the closed-door talks remain unclear, Idahosa has been asked to withdraw his court case against Okpebholo's candidature. The federal government of Nigeria has extended its condolences to the government and people of the Republic of Ghana over the demise of his High Commissioner to Nigeria, His Excellency Rashid Bawa. Bawa reportedly died in Abuja on Thursday after a brief illness. The federal government, in a statement signed by the spokesperson for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Francisca Omayuli, said the late Bawa would be missed greatly. Minister of Power Adebayo Adelabu has said that the federal government has dispensed 12.7 billion naira to offer meters in army barracks across the country. Adelabu said the amount is from the 40 billion naira earmarked for the mass metering projects, according to a statement by a special advisor on strategic communications and media relations, Bolaji Tunji. The minister made this known during the flag-off of the metering exercise at the headquarters of the 9th Brigade of the Nigerian Army Ikeja military cantonment in Lagos State, where he said the exercise would be in phases. He added that the Ikeja cantonment is the first phase of the exercise, which would last for 6 weeks before the second phase commences. Members of the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities and the Non-Academic Staff Union have begun a nationwide strike over alleged unfair treatment and disparity in the payment of salaries by the federal government. Last Monday, the unions had threatened to shut down hostels and power supply in universities across the country if the federal government fails to meet its demands before today, March 18, 2024. National President of SANU, Mohammed Ibrahim, said his members, including vice-chancellors, registrars and bursars, have not been paid since 2022 arrears. Let's turn to other stories for you. The All Progressives Congress APC has settled for Honorable Dennis Idahosa as its deputy governorship candidate in the September 21 Edo governorship election. APC National Chairman Abdullahi Ganduje and National Secretary Senator Ajibola Bashiru are to present Senator Monday Okpebholo, the party's flag bearer, and his running mate to President Bola Tinubu at the villa. Idahosa is to replace Omoyegi Ogbede Ihama, who was announced by the governorship candidate last week as his running mate. The 8 lawmakers suspended by the Zamfara State House of Assembly have said they had been handed out of the state by political thugs for exposing the increasing wave of insecurity in the state. They also said the House had written to them to return their official vehicles to the clerk. While addressing a press conference in Zaria, Kaduna State, the lawmakers alleged that some security agents had been sent to hunt them without any reason, a situation which made them go into hiding. Bashiru Aliyu, who spoke on behalf of the suspended lawmakers, said they would not be silenced until action was taken to tame the high level of insecurity in Zamfara. The Nigerian Army has confirmed the killing of its officers who were on a peacekeeping mission to 2 warring communities in Delta State. Those who lost their lives include a lieutenant colonel, 2 majors, 1 captain, and 12 soldiers. While confirming the incident, Director, Defense Information, Brigadier General Tukaro Gusau, said the unfortunate incident occurred when the troops responded to Adris's call after the communal crisis between the Okwama and Okoloba communities, both in Delta State. The reinforcement team, led by the commanding officer, was also attacked, leading to the death of the commanding officer, 2 majors, 1 captain, and 12 soldiers. The United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, has called on state governments in Adamawa, Bauchi, and Gombe to put in place better social policy as a way of tackling child poverty. The UN agency made the call during a two-day meeting held in Gombe, organized by the Bauchi field officer of UNICEF, with experts on social policy as well as journalists from the three states. During the meeting, the participants were exposed to issues that trigger child poverty, which has become a major threat to children's well-being and future. UNICEF social policy specialist Dr. Yusuf Auta made a presentation on child poverty and its drivers, as well as the multidimensional child poverty in Adamawa, Bauchi, and Gombe states, using recent poverty statistics as it affects children. In a bid to ensure compliance to environmental laws, the National Environmental Standards and Regulations Enforcement Agency, NESRA, has closed down 13 facilities. Director General of the agency, Aliyu Jaro, during an enforcement exercise and press briefing in Abuja, said the facilities were locked down due to refusal to heed warnings from the agency and violation of extant regulations. The DG, who was represented by the Director, Inspection and Enforcement, Abdul Salam Isa, said the enforcement was part of the agency's key performance indicator, KPI, to ensure compliance. The agency observed that some of the facilities earlier sealed had broken the federal government seals, and however, such facilities are to face punitive measures for their actions. Following a directive of President Bola Tinubu on immediate reopening of land border with Niger Republic, the Controller, Nigeria Customs Service, Kebbi State Command, Acho OJK, has reopened Kamba land border. While reopening the border, OJK said Kamba is a strategic border with a major share in Kebbi State revenue generation. The border reopening is aimed at paving the way for legitimate trade that will impact positively on nation building, not permission for importation of prohibited items that will threaten the economy and compromise national security. You're watching News Cycle coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on Star Times, channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms using @GlobalTVNG and other handles as you now see on your screen. When News Cycle returns, federal government offers 450 billion naira bonds to investors. We have these and other stories for you shortly. Do stay with us. This is Global Television bringing you live broadcasts of News Cycle with Uyi Agumofwebe. Thank you so very much for staying with us. Now let's take you to the foreign scene where North Korea has fired a ballistic missile, that's according to Seoul's military, as U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken visited South Korea to meet top officials and attend a democracy summit. Blinken is in Seoul for the third summit for democracy, an initiative of U.S. President Joe Biden, which the South is hosting this week, and is set to meet its Korean counterparts on the sidelines of talks. Key security allies, Washington and Seoul, wrapped up one of their major annual joint military training exercises last week, prompting angry retorts and tit-for-tat drills from nuclear-armed Pyongyang. Japan also confirmed the launch, with the Japan Coast Guard saying the objects appeared to have already fallen. Key Russian ally China has congratulated President Vladimir Putin on his election victory. With 99% of voting stations having submitted results, Putin had secured 87.33% of all votes cast, official election data showed on Monday, according to state news agency RIA. It was a record victory for Putin in a presidential election where he faced no genuine competition. Putin heaped praise on Beijing, saying he was sure that in the coming years they will only strengthen and build up their relations and achieve common successes for the benefits of the Chinese and Russian peoples. Britain's Foreign Minister David Cameron says the results of the Russian elections showed, quote, the depth of repression, end of quote, under President Vladimir Putin. The Kremlin praised Putin's landslide re-election for a fifth term in office as, quote, eloquent confirmation, end of quote, of the people's support. However, Kremlin, who on Sunday evening said the election was neither free nor fair, dismissed the poll outcome as undemocratic. The Kremlin has presented the weekend election marred by ballot spoilers and Ukrainian bombardments of major regions as proof of Russian-backed Putin's assault on Ukraine. Kremlin also cited the death of Putin's main political rival, Alexei Navalny, as evidence of the extent of Putin's repression. Meanwhile, France says the election that extended Russian President Vladimir Putin's rule for another 6 years took place amid repression and hailed the many Russians who demonstrated their opposition. The French Foreign Ministry said Paris had taken note of the expected outcome of the 3-day polls, which saw Putin obtain a fifth term in the Kremlin. The 71-year-old Russian leader, who has been in power since 2000, ran unopposed by any serious rival, and after his most vocal critic, Alexei Navalny, had died suddenly in an Arctic prison last month. Now time to follow the money for you in business. The stock market sustained a bullish trend last week as investors on the Nigerian Exchange Limited, NGX, gained 2.1 trillion naira. Though the market recorded mixed sentiment, the gains outweighed the losses as the NGX market recapitalization, which represents the total value of investment on the exchange, surged to 59.416 trillion naira at the closing of trading on Friday from 57.239 trillion this previous week. In a similar manner, another stock market performance indicator, NGX All Share Index ASI, increased by 3.7% to 101,085.25 points from 101,330.85 points. The Nigerian Army has expressed concern about the inadequate power supply in the Ikeja military cantonment in Lagos. This is as the federal government allocated 12.7 billion naira for the mass metering project in all army formations. Minister of Power Adebayo Adelabu spoke during the flag-off of the metering exercise at the headquarters of the 9th Brigade of the Nigerian Army Ikeja military cantonment. According to a statement by his media aide Bolaji Tunji, Adelabu explained that the current exercise, the sum of 12.7 billion naira has been released out of a total of 40 billion naira for the mass metering project. The minister had stated that the mass metering in army formations nationwide will enable and enhance monthly appropriate billings and ease collections, adding that the overall intention is to make estimated billing a thing of the past. The federal government is seeking to raise 450 billion naira from the investing public and a new debt issuance aimed at bridging government's deficits and deepening the domestic capital markets. It was learned that the Debt Management Office, DMO, which oversees the issuance and management of Nigeria's sovereign debts, will conduct a primary market auction, also called PMA, for 3 issuances through which it aimed to raise the funds. The 3 bonds on offer include a new issuance, a 3-year FGN March 2027, and reopening of the 7-year 18.50% FGN February 2031, and the 10-year 19% FGN February 2034 bonds. The federal government has provided clarifications regarding the recent memorandum of understanding between the Ministry of Transportation and MPH Rail Development Limited, a construction firm from the United Kingdom. According to the government, the agreement is not considered binding. This follows recent reports stating that the federal government has entered into a memorandum of understanding with an, quote, unknown company. The International Fund for Agricultural Development, IFAD, says it is committed to collaborating with the international community in addressing Nigeria's food and nutrition challenges. Dr. Donald Brown, IFAD Associates Vice President in Rome, made this known at the International News Conference in Abuja, where he said the mission was to deepen IFAD's partnership with the federal government and support government's efforts at food system transformation. According to him, the gesture is geared towards food nutrition, security, improved livelihoods of smallholder farmers, and inclusive agro-industrialization. Further said IFAD has worked in rural communities with smallholder farmers to improve food security and agriculture, stating that the organization has strong partnership with government. He assured that the organization would design a new project to support the government's food production value chain on climate adaptation. Leaders of the Fulani nationals in Nigeria expressing concern over the challenges faced by pastoralists has issued a stern warning threatening to halt the sales of livestock nationwide if their grievances are not addressed. The communique issued at the end of the 4B National Security Summit organized by the Mieti Allah Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria, also called MACBAN, was presented by the national president of the association, Baba Uthman Ngazema. Ngazema emphasized that pastoralists have been unfairly targeted for crimes in the country, joined by leaders of Chabito Palaco International and Fobi Global Development and Rights Initiative. Ngazema alleged that the government has not made significant progress in addressing the root causes of the current conflict and the challenges faced by the Fulani community. Now time to catch some excitement in sports. The Confederation Africa de Football has mourned the untimely passing of Mauritanian national team goalkeeper Mohamed El Mokhtar. The 21-year-old goalkeeper sadly lost his life due to an unforeseen collision while at training, which resulted in head trauma that saw the young goalkeeper sadly passing. A late Sunday statement on the CAF website read, "The association president, Dr. Patrice Motsepe, prayed eternal rest for the soul of the country's under-21 goalkeeper." Quite a sad story there, no doubt about it. But let's look away from sports, from soccer for a minute. Anthony Joshua has climbed up Ring Magazine's rankings after his devastating victory over Francis Ngannou. AJ, as he's fondly called, wasted no time in the ring against the MMA superstar as he secured a brutal second-round knockout earlier this month. The former heavyweight champion sent his rival to the canvas in the opening round and then hit the deck again before his lights were put out with a powerful right hand. Joshua has now won 4 bouts in a row against Ngannou, Otto Wallin, Robert Helenius, and Jeremy Franklin after his back-to-back defeats to Oleksandr Usyk. And that's a full circle here on the news, and it came to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on Star Times, channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms using the handle at Global TV NG and all other handles as you now see on your screen. I am Muyi Agumofwegbe. Thanking you so very much for watching. Coming up shortly is Big Talk with Michael Edikan. Have a great time watching.